What is up, y'all? Welcome to my fantasy football podcast. This is Cozmo. Super excited to have you if you're watching. This is episode 12. We're getting into it right now, man. Chiefs is still the Chiefs. Last week this said something not so good, but today it says something very nice. Chiefs are playing great, man. We just beat a really good team. We were favorites to win that game. I feel like Arrowhead really does the Chiefs justice. But that was some hard-nosed football, man. We really came in there and gave them some ball. Talk about Branch being upset because, we really were hitting them. We really were coming out and getting after them. Jared goofed, which is kind of unusual when he plays Patrick Mahomes. When he played him with the Rams in like 2019, they had the second most points ever in an NFL game. So two guys that know how to score, usually a 30 point per game team, but they can only put up about 15 last night. Um, I like the Chiefs really. It kind of looked like a steamroll, to be honest. Chiefs are back. And if they have Rashid Rice next week, man, this will be naughty. Let him get rolling, playing the Raiders. So you have a few mistakes that you can make. I watched the Raiders play the Titans, and it was pitiful, man. The Titans were just giving the ball to them every time, and the Raiders just still couldn't do much with it. Um, but getting into our pick'em, man, look at this. 8 for 15, so we're a little bit above 50%. That's a good thing to have here. And then for the year, right at 50%. 46 out of 93 for the year. Pretty good to have. And then for fantasy, we went 3 out of 4 for our teams this year. On our big league, big money league, we are 5-1 this week. Let's go. We really put an ass whooping on here. We'll get to that in a minute. Catalina Winemixer took a dub there. Needed to come 3-3 there. That's about where the entire league's sitting, about 3-3. Glory to the goal line. We got a nice dub there. And my one that I was undefeated in, we took our first loss. So not too mad about it. You get 5, you can take one. But we got to get back on the win train for sure. Speaking of being on the win train, a weekend for betting. How about that? I was putting money line parlays in. I feel like I'm really getting to the point in the season where we know what teams are going to do. This is really where the money line parlays shine. I won a bunch of money on like 3 to 6 leg money line parlays, as well as a couple kind of player prop picks on a bunch of free platforms. These prize picks, sleeper, underdog, fliff, rebet. It's literally all the same copy paste betting platform, and you can get all these free bets in between them. I'm going to be having some links in my description below with a bunch of free betting stuff. If you all have an interest in doing that, obviously don't lose all your money, but claim these bettings and if you're going to be able to get some bonuses and turn them into withdrawals, you can just cash out. Don't have to worry about, making continuous bets. I've been posting some bets on my Instagram too, Cosmic Football Analysis. You can always check those out and see if you need any picks for Sunday. Obviously, I'm doing okay this week. I'm up 190 this week, which was really nice. We were down 178 after we had a bad Chiefs money line bet last week, but this one covers, and we're up $12 this year. So hey, we're green. We like green. That's a good thing to see here. Hopping in over to our picks this week, and just kind of recapping generally the weekend. Besides the Chiefs game, we already got a little bit of that. It was a great game. Chiefs, man, it really has me on top of the world that we're playing like we are. Defense looked really good too. We were kind of popping them. I just got to say, Chris Jones needs to step it up though. But it's just not yet. He doesn't need to do it this next game. He doesn't need to do it in the next 3 games. But when the playoffs come, he has to be ready. I just want him to be ready for the playoffs. I don't want him to be hurt. I don't want him to kill himself now. But he needs to be ready for playoff time. Do the old Sammy Watkins trick, get through the season, play your games, get your contract money, but at the same time, your time the ball is in the postseason. And I really hope that's what he's going to do for us. And I'm really banking on that. I have full faith in that, quite honestly. Here we are, first game. Ooh, most people would have picked the Eagles. I think 60 to 75% of the money was on the Eagles spread here. And look at that, Giants covered. It's that Thursday night football, man. It's so tricky. Short weeks, short teams, and especially these Eagles are hurt right now. I was looking at their roster for even this week. It'll be a tough one for them. Broncos, Jets. Man, Broncos, abysmal offensive performance. I mean, just didn't look like themselves. Couldn't get the run game going. Couldn't get anything going passing. And they played the Jets, and the Jets, they're playing some close game, man. They're going to have to get one out here soon. Maybe we'll look at them covering, but definitely not to win a game here. I'm not going to even play with those Jets games just because these are so risky right now. They're playing them so close. Rams, Ravens, I thought this was an easy cover here. Puka Nacua goes out early. That's not good, but I feel like it's an infection from the Ravens team. All those players are hurt. So, one's going to leak over to the other side here. Cowboys, Panthers. Oh, I think I may have called this one. Not going to say I did, but I did. Panthers are a pretty good football team, man. They're putting up a really good defense. And then, on the offense, look at Rico Dowd. This wasn't a revenge game for him. He almost had 200 yards. That's insanity, man. He's playing like Christian McCaffrey for the Panthers. Let's not forget that the Panthers were in the Super Bowl about 15 years ago. This is not a trash team. If they can do it, this franchise knows how to get there. They've been there more recent than the Cowboys, which most people wouldn't have realized. Colts, man, you got to do better. In hindsight, I should not have given them 6.5. I think 4 would have been a fair line, and I should have taken the Cardinals here. They've just played so many close games. I think within their last 4 or 5 losses, it's within 9 points. So, you're losing every game within 2.5 points. We're going to have to look into letting them cover for now on. Especially with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. He looked great. He looked better than Kyler did. I really got to give him that. That was pretty fun to watch this weekend. Seahawks and Jags. Wow. Jags at home. Did not look like they looked against the Chiefs. JSN ripped those boys up. It goes to show you what a nice passing game can do. JSN and Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold knows how to get a number one receiver the ball. When he was with Justin Jefferson, he could get him the ball. When he's with JSN, he's getting him the ball as well. And they have a good run game, too. It's not like this is just their only outlet. They've got 2 really good backs, Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker, that are running well, too. It's very interesting that this offense is just so high output. The Seahawks, same thing with like the Panthers. These guys were in a Super Bowl 15 years ago, so you can't discount these guys. They'll come out of the dark real quick and punch you in the mouth for 8 games. Seahawks sitting at 4-2, same as the Jaguars now, but I think the Seahawks are kind of a strong favorite over there. Chargers, Dolphins. I thought the Chargers would really do it, and looking at the score here and hearing about Tua talking about player-only meetings and people not even showing up to it and didn't know if it's even happening or expected or yada yada, you wouldn't have said this game would be close, especially playing a really good kind of bought-in Chargers team. The Chargers facility and all the guys in it are very bought in and together. So to give up 27 to the Dolphins is kind of concerning too. I feel like Chargers really overperformed in the first couple weeks, and now is their time that they're being a little exposed. And they also don't have Quentin Johnson, so missing a big wide receiver, but at the same time, you gotta play. It's the NFL, man. Coming down here, Browns, Steelers. Steelers cover. Browns just look bad. They got to put Shador at quarterback. Dylan Gabriel is not him right now. I'm not saying Dylan Gabriel is a bad quarterback at all. He's a rookie. You got to give him a break, right? These guys aren't going to come out and give you 50 every time. So you got to give these guys a break. Aaron Rodgers, veteran. He's going to take a team and let them score 23 points. It looks so boring, but he's going to get a team out there and let them score some points. Also, Steelers defense did look good. They're looking more like who they should be, but they played the Browns, so we're going to keep that in mind. Steelers sitting 4-1. That's pretty happy, if you ask me. Patriots, Saints. Wow, I like this one. Patriots looked really good in this one, and Saints are kind of putting on some good performance here. Spencer Rattler to Chris Olave with a freaking bomb. I mean, don't get me wrong, Drake May looks great. He's getting the ball out to Stephon Diggs and Douglas, but I just saw a boom by my boy Rattler. So I got to shout him out. Had some good stuff going on there. Gave them 3.5 points, and they took it there. Titans, Raiders. Wow. I thought the Titans would come on and keep this one close, but they did not at all. They looked like shite. I feel like if the other team's not giving them a bunch of balls, ability, to turn the ball over, then they're not going to take any points on the board. This was a bad one by the Titans offense. I think when I was watching, I saw 2 fumbles and an interception. I mean, guys, let's just keep the ball on our side of the team, okay? It'd be a little better to just punt it away than to risk that again. I mean, that's how you give up 20 points because they just keep kicking field goals or getting closer to the red zone. But what do I know, man? I'm not in the NFL. Here we are, 49ers, Bucks. Glad we picked the Bucks here. Those boys did really good against the Niners. I think this Buccaneers team is serious. I mean, Baker Mayfield, we talked about where he's at in the Baker Mayfield cycle, but I don't know if there is a bad Baker Mayfield cycle anymore. This guy was freaking got Nick Bosa in a chokehold, pushing him away, throwing dimes, man. Give him his flowers. I think this could be a really good team. I saw a stat the other day that was talking about tight ends, and the utilization in tight ends in this game was the highest ever because all of their wide receivers went out. Ibuka, the rookie star, he's gone. He went out with an ankle injury early, so no reason to bring him back in. Keep the young guys healthy. So if you can do it with the tight ends, do it with the tight ends, man. Bengals, Packers. Ooh, you cannot give a team 14.5 points in the NFL. That's just too many. They'd have to be a very, very, very bad team. And I got to give some credit here to my boy Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco came out. He did his thing with the team that he got there on freaking Wednesday. This guy got in town on Wednesday and started on Sunday. Knew the offense, played the offense, ran the offense at quarterback. This isn't a wide receiver. This isn't a tackle. This isn't a running back that has to just, do my job. Yeah. I'm not saying those guys' jobs are easy, but this is the quarterback, man. The guy that touches the ball every play. So, really give him his flowers. Packers are very unimpressive. They looked good. They have a good roster, face value, but I just don't think they're really doing it for me. If you're going to give the Bengals 18 right now, and they're not known to stomp on people's necks, but you got that's why they gave them 14.5 points. You're supposed to try and cover this one. Oh, they should have gave these guys 14 points. Chiefs, Lions, man. We love this. We talked about it already. A little hard-nosed football going on here. But at the same time, one of my favorite things about this game was how Patrick Mahomes played. In his last 3 games, man, he's had 11 touchdowns, like 900 yards, 1 interception. Very nice play style by him. He's the Chiefs' leading rusher. The guy's putting on a clinic. So I think Pat for MVP. Baker's obviously a close second, but hey, Patrick Mahomes MVP. Put your money on him right now if I were you. Bills, Falcons. Ouch, man. Monday night slate hurt us. I had a really nice parlay that I rode through the day, and it would have been a $450 cash out. But I mean, I had an option to cash it out at about $95. It was only a $25 bet. Had the option to cash it out about $95 before the games, but I didn't take it, and I let it ride for about $450, and both of the teams lost. So I'm glad it was both of them. If it was just one of them, that may have hurt me a little more. But I was more wrong than I thought. So back to the drawing board here. I think the 3 to 6 leg are the right way to go. This was a 9 leg. So if I would have had it at 7 or just left out the Monday night games, this would have never happened. So lesson learned, very valuable. We're learning along the way. This isn't something we figured out day one. Hopping into our scores this week with my teams, man. Look at my freaking money league. Bootay whipping, you may say. That's a NFL player pun right there for you. Right here, Baker, doing really good things. A-Chain doing really good things. I think he's a really good player from Miami. I think if he came out and spoke as a leader, obviously I don't know the guy. He's 24, he's a young cat, but let this guy come out. This guy's been doing really good, and Tyreek's hurt. Tyreek doesn't even want to be there. So let this guy come out. Let this guy be a leader. He's obviously a phenomenal running back. I mean, he's one of the best in the league right now. Let him go out there and talk about him. Kendrick Miller didn't have anything. Picked him up off the waivers. Should have picked up Vidal. I had the option. Should have picked up Rico Dow earlier in the week, but I think he was higher. I was lower on the waivers. But I don't have anyone on the bench that scored about any points. I could have swapped out the Steelers and Lions defense, and in hindsight, I 1,000% should have. I must have not have looked at that, which is totally on me. Ibuka being hurt's really going to kill me here. I'm going to have to figure something out here. Bucky Irving, he's going to have to come back soon, but he is still doubtful. Is not in play. Well, his injury is getting a little more serious by the week. That's not good. That is never good, especially when they're playing very good, because that means they're not too worried about him. Moving on here, another win. We like this one here. This was a proper one. I like the point spread here. Quinton Judkins, kind of a low week though, but a good defense. So you got to give it to him. Kendrick Walker didn't do much either though, so no matter who I would have played, this wouldn't have been a crazy week. Got some guys. I'm going to move Quinton Judkins if he's going to be out this next week as well to IR, so that I can pick up a nice backup running back. Just so I can have some extra clearance here. James Cook has been underperforming the last 2 weeks as well. The Bills aren't themselves, so we're going to have to figure something out there. But again, a win here, so you can't be too mad. Don't want to change up, a winning strategy. Let's hop back over into this big money league, standing wise, sitting first in the league, tied with my stepfather actually. That's good to see. So we're tied up here. I like that. This league with the Cosmics standings, I'm sitting down at second, 4-2. I'm the only 4-2 team, so that's very nice. I could say that I'm kind of one game behind. I'm glad Mustafa took a loss this week. My boy Jackson took care of him. We like to see that. Points for, I'm up there. Points against, I'm very up there. But there's some guys down here that are killing it as well. Javon's doing very well. The commish, my commissioner, my QB, actually, I might say. Hopping over here, another dub. Oh, yeah, like, how many wins do you have? That's what I'm saying. How many wins do you have? We got them all. Again, underperformers at running back, kind of killing me here. This is why I draft wide receivers early, because these guys just come and go all season. They get hurt, they play up, they play down, they catch touchdowns, they don't. They run touchdowns, they don't. They catch balls, they don't. It's crazy. You get a receiving running back, and then suddenly he turns into a rushing running back. Jackson Smith-Njigba in this league, though, 31 points. We like that. Lad McConkey, who in this league I actually traded for, which I like to see. I even forgot who I traded for. Doesn't really matter. We're up. Standing wise in this league, I think I'm sitting, sixth in the total league. Not very good. Third in the division. Not awful, but hey, Chiefs are third in the division, so we're fighting back. 71% playoff chance, so I'm in it to win it. Beat a division rival here, so, we can get after them. The other division doesn't look too good. 3-3 is the middle as well, but two guys sitting 1-5. Ouch, this guy has 836 points against. That's just a bad time to be that guy. All right, and then my only loss this week, a lot of injuries. Puka, bump, gone. Sebastian Day, he left Tennessee game early. Left a little bit on the bench, but not too much. Paulson Adebo I could have had instead of Cam Curl. I thought Baltimore would have been a little worse. That Cooper Kush would have given the ball up a little more. But yeah, I really didn't leave anything at wide receiver just because Puka got hurt. I can't really do that. Debo just, acting like his old chunky boy self. So we'll hop over here to standings, though, and you might notice, that's a lot of people. That's 18 people. Who's at the top of that? Yeah, it's okay. We took a loss, but we're at number 1 out of 18 people. That's got to be a good day. I'm sitting good, sitting pretty in most of these leagues. I like to see that, Can't be mad at that at all. I'm going to show you all a couple bets. This is one of the things that I was talking about, turning these $20. This is a free $20. Look at it at the top here. Free $20. I literally have no other completions, never done another bet here. I don't know if I will. I might just cash out. These are so fun. You take $20, you do a little 2 to 3 times bet, 2 legs. If it requires 3, maybe 3. And then you just go at it. This was a pretty easy one. I thought that, hey, Brian Burns is really going to get after this guy, especially if they count, some of the plays they do, like the runs as a sack. You never know if like these read option plays get read as a sack or not. So I was like, hey, Brian Burns having a bunch of sacks this year. Let's give him one. Hey, Jalen Hurts. I don't think they're going to keep doing the tush push like they do against the Giants necessarily, because they're not going to really be like, let's kill our offensive line. We don't really need to do that. They would probably be a little bit more conservative, and they were. Look what happens when they were conservative. They lost. Hopping over here, this was the money line parlay that I cashed out. I'm glad I cashed it out because it wouldn't have hit. So we cashed it out for 197. I did have the other one that I could have cashed out for 90. It's okay that I didn't win that one, but, you win some, you lose some. Hopping over here, just a couple things I was watching, looking at from the Chiefs game. Juju, man, look at this, the brawl right here. Juju, you can't do that the play before and then let this happen to you the next one, man. If you're gonna do that to him and hit him like that, you got to be able to take this after the game too. I mean, quite frankly, obviously you can't do it, but looking at your face, bro, you can't let him punch you either. Give him a little whack back or something. You got to take one and give one back. Hey, I don't know what I would do. I would probably take a hit and then bring him down with me. Pull him down. Just make it a whole scuffle. Bring the whole team in. Grab a couple ankles, bite a couple. But you never know what you're going to get on film, man. And all of this is right after the game. I mean, this is literally all the cameras are ready to rush out on the field. They're sitting there waiting for you. So you can't do this, Brian Branch. This is the last thing that you want to do here. Anything else I got for this week, man? Crazy trades are going to be coming. I'm telling you, just watch out for this week. If you got your eyes on some Instagrams or some Facebooks or the TikToks, or you just check up on the ESPNs, man, look out for these trades. Check out these guys being picked up off free agency possibly. Obviously, these free agents can get picked up all the time, but there's going to be some crazy trades this week. We have like Kirk Cousins. Penix is playing good, so I feel like they're ready to sell him. Um, I don't think anybody's taking Russell at Q, but you got guys like David Njoku. He was a little hurt this week, so he might get shipped off to a team and play at the end of the season. Um, but hey, there's teams that need a running back. Breece Hall, Alvin Kamara. I could see these guys going somewhere. I don't know about the Chiefs. People talk about the Chiefs needing a running back, but I just don't see them putting more money towards someone. Pacheco looks a little like 2% better every game. So let's just give him time, let him do his thing. Patrick's obviously the leading rusher, but if we have two guys and we can kind of do a dynamic duo, I mean, I love Kareem Hunt. I think he's the best back. But he can't be the only one. He's not he's not dynamic enough. He's a bruiser, man. But he hits so hard, and I love that. But we see like Scadaboo. He's really putting it on out there as well. But you need a receiving back, and I like Brashad Smith for that as well, a little rookiness. But I just don't think we take Breece Hall. It'd be amazing. It'd be a crazy trade to the Chiefs. Our offense would be stupid. But I just don't see it happening. I feel like that would be a Chargers move right there. They need some help right now. Your two really good running backs go out. Why not bring in maybe Kamara too? Would be a good one. Edge rushers around the league, like Cameron Jordan. He was looking at a couple trades I heard on social media. The Saints aren't playing too well. I don't blame him. They've never played well, so he's looking for a new team. Jalen Phillips for the Dolphins. I'm sure he's one of the guys that's not shown up to meetings. I wouldn't show up to meetings. Tight end wise, I was seeing that Isaiah Likely would be a good one too, just because he's younger. These guys can kind of get tossed around, and the Ravens are so iffy right now, just with all the injuries and everything they have going on there. For waiver wire pickups this week, I wanted to just browse over a few guys. For quarterbacks, some of these guys may not be available in this league, but Bryce Young, great pickup here. Sam Darnold, these are guys that are going to put out a lot of passing yards. Maybe not attempts, but a lot of yards, because when they do throw the ball, they're going to be committed to throwing the ball, and their guys are going to get a lot of yards. And then they're throwing some screens and stuff too, and these are just so sneaky, man. But yeah, 16 completions for 300 yards. That's absurd. That's a good day. Other guys like Penix, he's been playing very well. I mean, look at what he just did against the Bills. The Bills obviously aren't the most insane defense, but he's a great quarterback. Looks like he knows what he's doing, especially as kind of a sophomore. Joe Flacco could potentially go crazy with Jamar Chase out there. He was getting him some balls, and Jamar Chase looks like, hey, man, I'm just happy to have a ball thrown to me. And then Dylan Gabriel, stay far away from that bull crap. Don't even look at that. Running back wise, I didn't have too much on running backs just because there's just so tight and stuff going on right now. Redmore Stevenson could be a potential, but with his fumbles, I think he's had 6 fumbles in so far in this year. And that's just so worrisome because that's negative points towards your fantasy. And that can hurt you on a Monday or Sunday night when you go negative and you actually go down points below someone. Kareem Hunt would be a good one just because of his touchdown potential. Alvin Kamara is available in this league, which is crazy. I'm going to drop Kendre Miller and pick him up. They're just sharing targets, though. That's my issue. They both have the same target share. Vidal right here. He's available. He would be a great pickup, I think. I think he would be my only trade out personally in this league. You guys might have some other running backs available in yours, and I encourage you to look at those guys. If you have some guys that are highly listed that score a lot of points, get them because they have some potential here. Carter, Michael Carter, they were talking about for Arizona, maybe picking him up. I'd kind of stay away. Charbonnet had a good week last week, but they're just tossing the ball too much. Wide receiver wise, in this league, Jamison Williams is still out there. T. Higgins is out here. These guys are big scorers. Darren Waller's been scoring a bunch of touchdowns. I think he has like 4 touchdowns in the last 3 games. So you kind of got to give him some props, give him some look out here. Hunter Henry's been a favorite for Drake May, just an inside kind of leak target, ready to get out there, ready to get inside. So look out there. Jerry Jeudy, I would stay away just with Cleveland's passing situation. Keyshawn Boutte, look at this guy right here. Game log. How many points? 25. That's a lot of points. Drake May was getting him the ball. Yeah, he was. And then also Douglas he was getting both of them the ball. Douglas for New England as well. Could be a potential pickup, but it looks like he's already picked up in this league. Josh Downs for Indiana, but I'm already kind of deep at wide receiver. The only thing I would consider taking out in this league would be Zay Flowers because of the Ravens situation. In this league, add players for wide receiver. Yeah, Josh Downs is pretty high up there. That would be someone that would be available in this league. He had a touchdowns this last weekend, so that's nice. Touchdown this last weekend and 54 yards the week before. Eight targets each game is pretty reliable. For defensive wise, I always like to look at the Patriots for this week because they're playing the Chiefs are here because they're playing Vegas. That's an ad. And I shall drop the Chargers. Yeah, playing the Raiders will be a good team, or they're a bad team, so Chiefs playing them will be a good pickup. Also, you could find the Patriots. They're going to be playing the Titans. Titans are not a good football team at all. They looked so bad when I was watching them this week. It's one of those teams you're like, can the best college team beat the worst NFL team? That's what was going on in that game. Titans are the worst team in football, which is weird because they're in such a good city. They have a nice young quarterback, good supporting cast. They were supposed to have a good defense. They're not that great. Kicker-wise, McPherson for Cincinnati. Look at him just because he is on a team that could score points now. I'm not saying that. Yeah, where is he on here? Yeah, Evan McPherson. I'm not saying that he's going to score a bunch of points and he's not going to be crazy accurate, but if Joe Flacco can only get in the red zone, McPherson's going to shine here. He could be scoring 6 to 9 points a week, which is what you want out of a kicker. You're not asking him to score 15 one week and 2 the next. You want him to score 9 every week. That's your ideal kicker. Other than that, the only thing I got is Patrick Mahomes or Baker Mayfield for MVP. It's got to be one of them. Let's look at MVP odds real quick. Sitting here at FanDuel. Oh yeah, Patrick Mahomes plus 200, Josh Allen 350, Baker, Drake May 1,000. Wow, Drake May's up there too. How interesting. I love to see this. That's amazing. But coming into this week, I don't have too much for y'all. We're going to get into our bets and stuff Thursday. I'm going to have some really good bets and money line picks for you all to make some good money. I feel like I'm really getting a grip on these, and we're going to make some money for everyone this weekend. Some good potential and some upsetting games, really. If you're watching all the way through, much love, man. Thank you so much for watching, and peace. We'll see you next time.